And welcome back to another episode of the Nothing to Do podcast. I am your host, Jeremy, and today I have another very special guest joining me here at NTD Studios today. Give it up for Josh Chambers. Woo!
Let's go.
How we doing today, bro?
Chilling, man.
Chilling.
No complaints. Got some cigars here, Henny. So
today's a very Today's a special episode. It's the last episode of the new year. It is our year review episode. We'll be catching up, doing a little reviewing some of the best of, worst of, and what kind of happened overall in the year 2022. But we also got some stogies to light up. Now, after we bomb this place, I'm literally just leaving this house. I have this whole contingency plan on how I'm gonna get the smell of cigar out of my house. But it's good to have you on, man. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Let's pour up the drink and smoke up the oh shit. God damn.
Light up.
It's funny because, like, you know, I hate doing too. I'm trying to be like, I don't want to save conversations for the show sometimes, but I mean, just to kick it off, because we Josh and I are huge anime heads. I think him more than me. I'm still convinced that I put him on an anime. Like he said I didn't, but I know that before I showed you the Kakashi Obito fight, you wasn't on the shit you was on now.
No, that's very true. I mean, I'll say you didn't put me on, but you definitely got me back into it. You know, I felt like a druggy relapsing once you showed me that. And
okay, I'll take that.
And then I got back into it. But yeah, there's been some crazy anime this year for sure, I would say.
Yeah, bro.
Talking about best of 2022, I would say Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man is great. Yo, Chainsaw Man is fucking wild. It's like Tokyo Ghoul, anything like Chainsaw Man. Like when I talk to Bodhi, shout out Bodhi. Hold on, cheers, brother. Cheers, salute. Let me get the lighter in the.
Yeah, no. So Bodhi told me the same thing too.
He said this is like some Tokyo Ghoul shit. I tried Tokyo Ghoul and it wasn't like.
Bro, I love Tokyo Ghoul. That's a great show.
I wasn't like crazy into it. You know what I'm saying? I think I stopped after the first episode the fifth episode. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Tokyo's a fire show. I mean, you usually don't see the main character being like a somewhat evil in a way.
Yeah,
That's kind of why I fucked with it. Even like Chainsaw, I feel like the main character is not really as moral as like so many animes. So I feel like that kind of separates them. That's kind of why I like it, and I feel like they are kind of in the same way in that, you know, because of that.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you're seeing that more though with Attack on Titan. Like the nigga Eren is like the straight up villain now.
Yeah, with Attack as well. That's true.
But yo, listen. I used to shit on Bleach, and we're not gonna give any spoilers. I know, like, I have anime fans that listen to the show, and I don't know if you watched the new season. It's probably like, honestly, because what I will say, there's a couple points I want to hit on Bleach, bro. One, thank God for Demon Slayer, because of Demon Slayer, bro. Fucking, like, I feel like they made other anime step their shit up in terms of like animation and like building like an epic. Like, even though I don't think Demon Slayer's like, I don't think Demon Slayer's plot, at least where it is right now, is nothing crazy.
No, it's not.
Like in terms of the story, like the developing of the story, but it's just like the way these arcs, like, you know, these fights play out in these arcs is just insane.
No, 100%. I agree with that. I mean, also the way they've been pushed out. I mean, I feel like most anime takes like 2-3 years for the next season, and a lot of them, they're always getting discontinued. I feel like Demon Slayer just kept the pressure on, you know? So I definitely agree with that. And I mean, the anime itself the animation is amazing. I think that's probably by far one of my favorites. I mean, it made top 5 and it's like just a newer one. You know what I mean? So
Facts. But no, Bleach, what I will say about Bleach, I love that they took away all the filler, all the fluff that all the seasons, and that a lot of these like big animes like that have like Naruto, One Piece, maybe not My Hero so much. I mean, I haven't watched the latest My Hero. I'm hearing like mixed reviews on this shit, but like I hear like all that fluff, like oh Ichigo's going to school, he's catching up with his friends that mean nothing. Like they took all that shit out, and they just got right into like war and just like, bro, I love that shit.
That's facts.
And I love how gory it is. It's so much gorier now than it was before.
100%.
Which I think it has to be because, like, aside from just like the corny, like you get slashed, and then it's just like,
coming out.
Like there was no like blood or like gore in that show, and like this new season, it's just like they really turned that shit up.
No, for sure. And I mean, even Chainsaw, I think that's the goriest anime I've ever watched. To be honest,
Chainsaw's crazy, bro. What I like about Chainsaw too, though, is like Chainsaw. Like I feel like they're doing, you know, I feel like there's been a lot of different types of shows. I haven't even watched the new DBZ Dragon Ball movie, but I don't know how I feel about this 3D style of animation. I feel like Chainsaw kind of got it down right now with that 3D style.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I haven't seen the Dragon Ball Z movie either, so I can't really speak on it. But for like this newer 3D animation, that's the first reason why when Bodhi put me on the Chainsaw, I was like, bro, I don't know if I'm gonna like this because I don't really like that style of animation.
Yeah,
like, I like it more the 2D, the older. But I mean, I think they killed it. So
no, facts, bro. God damn, I like want to like kind of want to break all this shit down right now, but I also kind of just want to respect the listeners a little bit.
Yeah.
But have you been following? We're gonna just pivot real quick. Have you been fucking following the Stallion shit?
Yes, dude. Crazy.
Fucking crazy.
Crazy.
Fucking insane. So if in case you guys have been living under a rock the last 2 years, so there was a whole thing. I think I talked about it when it first happened, where Tory Lanez in a heated conflict with Meg Thee Stallion at some after party fucking shot Meg Thee Stallion in the foot, and this nigga's been getting dragged through the mud ever since. And it's crazy because like I feel like as the months went by, a year went by, a year and a half went by, there's been like conspiracy theories as to like why Meg is lying. She didn't get shot or he didn't shoot her, all this stuff. And it's been very much dismissed as just like sexist, like racist, sexist, like rhetoric and like just theories. But now it's starting to see like now it's really getting like super messy, bro. I don't know. I'm like really, this is like the most I've been into celebrity gossip in a long time. Like I have they have that. I don't know how have you been following it, like this trial?
A, just like read it into news about it. B, they post this dude on World Star all the time. Have you seen this guy? So he's like
some Indian or like some
the
like Middle
lawyer,
Eastern dude. I've been seeing all the videos on
like
TikTok.
Chilling by his like Rolls Royce, just like yo. So I was at the trial today, and like da 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 da. And he's just pretty much been exposing, the prosecution or the witnesses realistically. Going after. But I mean, it's interesting too because like you said, Tory Lanez got dragged through the mud. I mean, I feel like Tory Lanez got dragged through the mud for like 2 months. And then everybody was like, Meg, like, what are you saying? We don't believe it. Like, even did you see her walking into the courtroom?
No, I didn't see any videos of the trial. So I've just been following this dude on like TikTok.
Yeah. So there's a video of her walking in, and it's literally a guy sitting there talking about like, why you lying on that boy's name? Like, you know what I mean? So realistically, it's like, I don't even know. I mean, I think her fault is that she wasn't telling the truth from jump to anybody. She didn't tell the police the truth or whatever. And like her story switched so many times. And same with the witness. And then the witness pled the fifth. So.
And the whole pleading the fifth situation. Yeah. Because when you put it the way he put it, he was like, when you plead the fifth, it implies in criminalizing yourself.
Exactly.
Which I never thought about it like that. I thought it was just like, well, I guess it makes sense when you think about it like that, but I also, I don't know. So it's like he kind of put that in perspective, but it's crazy. And then now, like everybody was giving Drake shit. Like I feel like that's another indicator. Like if Drake chimes in on this thing, then like there's some because Drake is like way too calculated of an individual to just like say some wild shit like that in a song.
Nah, true.
And not know any of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
No. True.
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just so much like fake news and rumors around the trial, which I think is crazy. Like going into this, like you were saying, I mean, I don't really follow celebrity trial gossip, stuff like that much. But I mean, coming into it, it's like, bro, there wasn't ever one solid story. So to see this just playing out in court now, it's like I don't even know what's gonna happen. I don't even know what I believe at this point. I mean, if you had to give your opinion on what do you think how it will play out, like.
So all right. So let's recap the story, right? It's like so. Her opening statement was very much what at first came out. They got into an argument. She was dissing him about him just being a whack artist in general.
Yep.
He got upset, pulled out a gun, started taunting with the gun, ended up getting shot in the foot, right?
And told her dance, bitch.
So told her, yeah, quote unquote, dance, bitch. Ha ha. That's when she said that, I felt like that's just how like some Dave Chappelle skit,
No,
like
for real,
dance, bitch. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Literally the Rick James, like
right, facts. Then I might have to do a lot of editing on the audio version because there's gonna be a lot of fucking. I do that a lot on the show, by the way. I talk about the process of the show in the show. So forgive me, Josh, if fucking I just completely derail the conversation.
It's all good. This is what you do. So,
and then the defense statement just completely spins the story. Not necessarily spins, but like you are leaving out like so much information about your friend, about you getting with Tori, about Tori, or like you getting with this girl, like your friend's ex, all this, that, and the third. The fight at Kylie Jenner's, like she was mad at Kylie Jenner because Tori was fucking around with her, and then the beat between this third party whose name is like Kelsey or whatever. I don't know what the fuck she's from.
She's so just to give background on her too. So she's like best friends or ex best friends with Meg, but supposedly they've previously already fought over Ben Simmons because they both was with Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
And who else was it? It's another one too. They were both with someone else. So they've been with. It
was like and the baby.
There we go. So that's 3 times. You know what I mean? Best friends have been fucking with the same dude.
That's
weird.
That's some other shit.
Like I don't even understand that relationship there. It makes no sense. And then, I mean, and then the whole thing with like, I mean, pretty much Kelsey's came in and poked so many holes into Meg's story too. Which is, I mean, she said the dance bitch came out of nowhere. She said the $1 million offer to keep quiet was what she said. Like, it wasn't said exactly like that. Tried to plead the fifth. Like, so.
Oh, there was a question about, like, her.
Yeah,
wait, go into that.
Yeah, because, so I guess supposedly, because, I mean, the story is, she got shot. She hops back in the car. They're, like, trying to drive off whatever until the cops find them. And pretty much Tori, Meg says that Tori offered them both $1 million to keep quiet about the whole thing.
Meg offered Tori?
No. Tori offered Meg and Kelsey each
okay, got you.
$1 million to not talk about the whole thing, right? Which is interesting. And then, I mean, Meg says days later that Kelsey went to go meet up with Tori. And so, that's like pretty much putting the rumor out there that she took the bribe kind of situation.
Yeah.
When Kelsey got on the stand, she said there was no bribe, So, and I feel like that's her guiltiness because if there was a bribe, she obviously took it.
And they also like fucking because I remember the lawyer saying something about fucking. I can't believe we're really just breaking down this trial right now. This is hilarious.
Yeah, they should have.
But like she wasn't gonna go and testify unless she got immunity.
Yep.
For all of this shit.
Yep.
Right? And I think, and they came into an agreement about that. Yeah. But then it got to a point where she was pleading the fifth about stuff, and they had to remind her, like, you're not immune against perjury in the court.
Yeah.
Like, against perjuring, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, that's really interesting. I think this is the first week. We'll see what happens. Honestly, I think this is like, I feel like we're at the climax. Maybe next week, maybe we'll reach some, like, breaking information. But I feel like we've reached sort of the climax of the story. And then it's just going to be a lot of semantics and back and forth stuff of what we already know.
Yeah.
And then I think Tori's going to get acquitted. And then, but nothing's going to come out of it. Yeah. Nothing's going to come out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I think the story's just flipped so many times on her
Facts,
part.
bro.
Like, who could, You know what I mean? Who could even believe anything
Facts.
that's being said at this point? Bro.
Facts, bro. Fucking nuts. What? Have you seen the Skip Bayless memes?
Yes.
Or just like he's like you find out she find out you got with the baby and like Tory Lanez, who are both like 5'3". He's like, it's my turn. He said it was gonna be my turn.
Yeah, no, that's facts.
Yeah. Oh my god. But I was following. I sent you the video last week. And we were like chilling watching the games, and like that whole Joe Budden thing came out again. Did you watch that at all? I ended up just watching the
So what's he doing? He's just dogging out everybody.
He's just like yeah, bro. I don't know. It's like with Joe. I ended up just watching that whole episode, or like the whole fight in that episode. It was like an hour.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like Joe. He just seems like a fucking toxic individual. Like he's like he definitely like loves to like his whole thing. Like when worst comes to worst is like he just minimalizes. What it seems like he minimalizes like his friends. Because that's what, like, especially, like, Maul, before they left, like, they were homies, and now they're not cool. Yeah. This new guy that he's, like, not, I mean, they said it's, like, there's no beef, right? Like, they cleared that up, whatever. But, like, his whole thing, so basically there was just contracts. There was his new co-host, his name is, like, Antoine, he goes by Ish, and he, like, doesn't, like, they're trying to sign an agreement for him to actually be a part of the show. Because right now he's just kind of on it, like as a a contractor type shit.
Got you.
But there's a stipulation in the contracts basically saying that within the longevity of this contract, he cannot quit, but Joe can fire him whenever he wants. And so he wants the whole thing is that he wants protection from that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Joe's like, absolutely not. And like, cause he's like, this is what I do, and like Ish, which is like his whole argument. Cause Joe's whole thing is like, I do this, I put my sweat equity, I make this is $1 million, millions dollars,
like,
which is like cool. He's like
flexing his muscle, like you know.
He's like, you're like the millions you make pays your mortgage and all this shit, right? So if I leave, that's gonna be a burden on you, and you can't just fire me because whatever thousands I make, like the thousands I make in my life is equitable to the millions you make. So you can't belittle me on the stage because of this, and it just got nasty. And then Joe just basically called it an entry-level job. He was like, this isn't, because he like compared it. He's like, tell me right now, any corporation you get in there, like when you can just quit whenever you want. He's like, anyway, he's like, I can walk out of UPS right now and give my 2 weeks. Yeah. And 2 weeks is just a courtesy. Yeah. Like I could really just up and go. Yeah. Like, and I can't do that here, but you can fire me, all this. So they got into a fight about that, but it's just like, and he was like, basically like, this is an entry-level job. It's like, you let me know what entry-level job you can come here and make this money. Like, that doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, I mean,
like hanging shit over like someone's head like that. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's sucker shit.
Yeah, no, you never want to do that shit. That shit is weak, bro. That just shows like your insecurity. I feel like to a sense, and at a point, I mean, I get it. You make the show. He is the show in a way. I mean, but he obviously
he is, and he's good.
But he needs
a host.
Yeah,
or at least he feels like he needs a host. He can't go in there. You can't do what I do, Joe. you can't sit here and lose a host and keep the show going. All right, you can't do what I do, Joe. Meanwhile, I'm in the whole thousands. I'm literally in the whole thousands of dollars, and I make no money off this show. It's literally just a hobby at this point. I'm just talking shit, but it's But yeah, I don't know. That's just like I feel like that's just fucking whack. Like like I feel like yeah. So and he needs a host. Not that he won't be able to find another one, which he will and he always has. But like, he has to stop production if he doesn't have a host.
But no, that's deep trauma, bro. To bring somebody on, make them sign a contract like that where they have no right to quit when they want to. Yeah. Like, what kind of shit is that? Like,
facts, bro. Facts.
I mean, if I was bro, I'd sue. There definitely has to be some type of. Like,
that was Joe's whole thing, though. Joe's whole thing was like he had sort of the same agreement with Rory and Maul.
Yeah.
But he was like, I didn't sue them. He was like, I'm not gonna. If this ever came down where I did fire you, like. Or you quit, like I would never sue you, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. He's like, yeah, but I'm not protected by that. You are literally protected by that. Yeah. So why don't you just reflect it on the contract? He's like, I will never reflect it on the contract. He's like, that's retarded. Like
Yeah. I mean, who's bro's lawyer who let him sign this contract? And He must have been like very.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He
He must have
like,
been very thirsty to get on the show. That's.
yeah, I don't know. The lawyer wasn't on the show. He was just the lawyer himself wasn't on the show.
I just mean like for his host. What's his host name again? Antoine.
His,
you said
yeah, Antoine or Ish. Yeah,
Ish, yeah. Like, I mean, why do you get yourself into that contract in the first place? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, they haven't signed anything. They're trying to come to an agreement, and they haven't because of this.
Got you. Yeah, so
That's
I
what
would
it is.
never.
Yeah, and the lawyer's trying to like fight for
that.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, because that's crazy.
yeah.
That's outlandish.
Cigar's nice, man. We haven't been to Ale House in a mad long time.
Yeah, no.
I was thinking we go tomorrow for some games, or for the Raiders game, for the Pats Raiders game.
Nah, that's gonna be a big one.
Sorry, Gotti, I'm not going to the fucking ugly sweater party. I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
I'm dead. Yeah, I don't got ugly sweaters.
But I also need to eat, so maybe I'll pull up. Piece of shit.
I'm dead.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
They always got the ill food at the parties.
Oh yeah. Josh is honorary Dominican now. He moved here.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know who Josh is, actually, Josh is my sister's. All right, how do you? Okay, so when I refer to you, I just don't like saying my sister's boyfriend because it feels weird. I don't know. I just don't like saying that in a sentence.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I also just like I call you my brother-in-law at this point.
Oh my God. Bro, that shit.
They are not married. I just say it because it's just easier than saying my sister's boyfriend. Because I also like I consider you a homie at this point too. Yeah, but then I also 100%. Won't I don't refer to you as my friend Josh because you're my sister's boyfriend. If that makes any sense, does that make sense?
It does make sense,
right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like no, it's like he's not your friend. He's your sister's boyfriend. But anyways, this is my brother-in-law. No, yeah. So
that shit is bad funny.
And he has become honorary Dominican in his last 6 months since you moved back to Rhode Island. Yeah.
I'm feeling it. I started watching baseball. That's how you know.
Yeah, he started watching. Not only has he started watching baseball, he started watching Dominican baseball with my dad and with Leslie.
Yeah, that's how the
he was watching Águilas and Licey, bro. Like, drinking Brugal and shit.
No facts.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm down to do something for the Pats Raiders game tomorrow.
We gotta go up for that game. I mean, we're talking about 2022's best worst. Mm-hmm. I want to say the Raiders' performance this year is definitely the worst thing that could have ever happened to me.
Personal experiences, fan. Yeah, that it's pretty sad.
It's deep for me.
Are they out? I don't think they're out yet, though.
No, technically not. But I mean,
I think once we beat you guys tomorrow, though, it's over. I think it's over.
But if we do take the L, yes, it's over for us. So
you know what I will say though, if you guys somehow manage to sneak in the playoffs, you guys have a better chance. And if we don't, or like if we do whatever, I think you guys have a better chance of making a run in the playoffs than the Patriots do. I'll say that because their car like shows like they have better weapons. Josh Jacobs, who is still like you know that Wolverine meme where he's holding that picture.
Yeah,
that's me with Josh Jacobs. I had Josh Jacobs in my fucking fantasy, and I traded him for a guy I ended up dropping a week later. Antonio Gibson.
This guy dropped the best running back in the
league, and then he just became. But I'm happy because the guy I traded him to, who's also sort of like, like the he's like the guy in the league nobody's rooting for. Like everybody wants to see him lose. Yeah. And he lost in the first round.
Okay.
He lost last week, and everybody was amped.
Dude, this is my first week of playoffs right now, and I'm pulling moves. Like I picked up Jared Goff. Which I had to do.
Jared Goff, that's actually not a. I mean, they're facing the Jets, who have a good defense, but like they're hot right now. Yeah. And Jared Goff has been, they've been killing it.
And Leonard Fournette though.
Leonard Fournette, it's over for Leonard Fournette.
I know. He was doing work for me for a while this year, so now I'm like scrambling for a new running back.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Fucking we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of this show, but before we start with best music, both of 2022 and your music of 2022, because I have some music that I have been listening to that didn't come out this year, but it has defined my year. Did you get a chance to listen to any of R. Kelly's album before it went down?
I did not.
Oh, shit.
I did not.
R. Kelly really dropped the album, bro.
Crazy.
He dropped a fucking album. I gotta bring this exposure down on the camera. Do you want to give the folks a little rundown of the R. Kelly situation real quick of this album and what your thoughts on it real quick?
Yeah, no, I got you. My thoughts on this album, crazy. I think the craziest part to me, I mean, first of all, I seen the snippets from when Boosie was listening to it, and I mean, it sounds like R. Kelly's talking some crazy shit. But the video that came out after the album, or the recording of R. Kelly in jail, singing into the mic, and then just getting super serious.
I didn't see that,
bro. I
didn't see that.
That is the goal of the whole thing. And he pretty much comes out and says like, I didn't.
So this isn't an AI generated album. This is R. Kelly recording from jail.
No. So that's him coming out from jail saying that he never made this album. He's saying that this album is all phony.
He said that he never released the album, or he never. But he did record the album.
Yeah, I mean,
he had intentions with this album.
That's true.
He did have intentions with this album. So it wasn't an AI, because AI can do crazy things nowadays. I was having a conversation with some friends from work yesterday saying that there's AI technology that can write college essays for you and that cannot be.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And that can't be checked for plagiarism. Like it passes those tests.
No, I saw those.
So it's not that. So R. Kelly had all the intention of telling his story in his, what I would call his next Trapped in the Closet series.
Facts.
But but in terms of its release, he had nothing to do with it. He has. I just wanted to listen to the last song or the last 3 songs.
Yeah,
it's called "I Admit It." I did it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The album's called "I Admit It," but then like some of the snippets Boosie was playing, it was like pretty much talking about him not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Or like how his like lawyers afraid, whatever, all this shit's happening. So that's why I was just like, bro, I don't know what the fuck is going on with this, but I don't know who let or who did release R. Kelly's album, but
I wish they didn't take it down. I really wish they didn't take it down.
Yeah. I mean,
oh my goodness.
That's the biggest L ever.
Anyways, so I'm gonna run through some of the albums that come out this year.
Yeah, sounds good because I can't remember.
And you just interrupt me when if you have a comment to say. My first one actually. So I had because I did this episode, but like a halfway through mark. I did one in July or in June.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of albums from then, obviously, because it's the same fucking year, right? Her Loss. How do you feel about her? Great album. Great album.
Yeah.
Solid album. Do you think it was better because it followed up Honestly Nevermind, which got very shitty, which I personally liked, and I've been on record saying I liked it.
I think I like Honestly Nevermind better.
Better than Her Loss.
Yeah. Personally.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah.
Personally.
I think I'm there with you.
It's more of a vibe. I could listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just a better feeling. Like Her Loss is good. But I don't know. Like for me, some of it is like I feel like it wasn't 21's best like performance. Yeah. I think he kills a lot of songs. Don't get me wrong. But then, like, I feel like when he got on that Metro album and that came out shortly after, the verses and what I heard from 21, I was like, okay, well, like, this is like,
that's 21.
Metro and 21
that's
together,
his pocket. That's like his bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly. It's always gold.
I agree with you.
So I just felt like it was kind of weird. And then, I mean, and then Drake's sus moments on the album.
On Her Loss? Was it like the
all of those.
What was the other ones?
I mean, Can You Do Something For Me? Like,
Can You Do Something For Me? Oh, yeah. How did I fucking forget about that? That was
a huge meme right now. That is a huge album. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of quality content that came out of that little Can You Do Something For Me?
No, there was. So, I don't know. I mean, but I like Her Loss. Her Loss is up there. I think, Honestly Nevermind for me is like a best of 2022. Just because also, like, the thing I think I like about Drake the most is he just does different shit, So
yeah,
like, and always tries to like
push
the envelope, which I mean a lot of people hate him for as well.
Right.
I think that's what separates him. So I think that's what makes that album better. I think Her Loss is just like another kind of album that I could just say, oh, Drake did this. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree with Her Loss. I really enjoyed Her Loss. I think I agree in saying that I enjoy Honestly Nevermind because I do like listening to that type of music more like on an everyday type of basis, and I do like an album like Her Loss. What I will say about 21, like I thought that was more of like a Drake album with some 21 features.
You know
I remember when I first heard, I was like, 21's like not even on, like he's barely on this album for it to be a joint album.
No, exactly.
And then this stat came out where it was like Drake had like 60% or over 60% of like the his verses and just like time on the album. But I think that 21 kind of snapped on all of the tracks that he was on for
I feel that. That's fair.
For that. I also like. I think Drake came out with one of his like best verses ever in Middle of the Ocean. I'm talking about ever.
Yeah.
Because you know how Drake always has that one song and it's usually only one where he's just like in like his Drake pocket. He's not in like, because he spits in a lot of songs, but like within like the range of music of what's popular today, that flow, that style of rap.
Yeah.
But he always has that one song in every album where he gets into like Drake mode, like Drake rapping mode. And I think that's probably one of my favorites. Like, thinking of like Middle of the Ocean, he snapped. And even just the way the beat switched on that, he went for like almost 6 minutes just fucking, and he snapped.
Yeah, not fast.
So that's what I'll say with Her Loss.
Yeah, that was a great song.
Next album, SOS. I don't know. Listen, I don't know who SZA's ex must have been Captain fucking America or something, bro. Like, this nigga's dick must cure cancer. Or something, bro. I don't know. Must cure COVID and monkeypox, all that shit. Because like, she was really like, she sounded hurt, man. She sounded hurt.
No, she did, bro.
What I'll say about SOS?
She must have screamed, "Why did you fuck her?" on like almost every song.
Facts.
on that album. I'm like, okay, goddamn.
Facts, bro. Listen. I'll say this about it. I gave it a play. I enjoyed it, and like that was kind of it.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean,
I guess maybe it's also not like,
it's not gonna be my first play.
Yeah.
But like Vanessa's a huge fan, so
Right.
of SZA in general, and I mean even she had a hard time. Like when we first both listened to it, we were like, okay, this is cool. I mean, she's doing some new stuff. Some songs sound like she's like Taylor Swift or some shit. I was like, okay, whole switch up. She has some like faster beats. Yeah. She has like she's doing a lot of things.
She had a little punk rock song in the middle, like that emo punk. I remember that.
Yeah. So she has a lot going on. I mean, I think it's good. The more I'm starting to listen to it, like I'm like, okay, this song's cool. But sometimes I don't know. Her music just seems a little too like she's just complaining too much, like you said about being hurt. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah, she's like, very much in her bag, very much in her bag in all her music, which I think is what makes her good though. Because it's just like her music is obviously like very emotional. Mm-hmm. So like when you make music like, and she's not like a producer or nothing either. Right? She obviously like, you know, she collabs, like the production on the album, especially like the first like 6 tracks of that album is like the production is fire. Yeah. But I respect it, but like I wasn't crazy on it.
Yeah. No, same here, man. Same here. I mean, it's not something I feel like
next or no, I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
No. It's just not something I'm just gonna be listening to every day. You know?
Yeah. Spaceships on the Blade.
Wait. But let's just take this back for 1 second.
Let's take it back.
Okay. Also, one reason why I feel like I'm not fully bought into this album is because of the fake ass.
Oh my God, yes. I wanted to talk about.
Let's be real.
I wanted to talk about the that broke my heart.
She was the natural queen. She was the one.
She really wasn't. She was the one.
Or at least I thought.
And it's like, bro. And it's like I look back, I feel like a fool now. Listen, I feel like a fool, SZA. I feel like a fool because I look back at your pictures now and it's like it was in my face. It was there. Of course, clearly that ass is fake. It's fake. But I was like, leading up until when she just dropped that bomb in her album, I was like, yo, I haven't like, I felt like I was like, I felt like it was me like 8 years ago when I first like discovered World Latin Star on fucking Instagram. And it's just a bunch of fucking Instagram models just like with fucking just thick, just fat asses. And I'm just like, I was thirsting on her like, damn, she's really like, she's fucking bad. Like I forgot SZA was. I didn't know SZA was this fucking bad. Like,
facts.
And then she says, "It's like, yo, clearly her ass is fake." Now I guess our last one is our last queen is Georgia Smith. Yeah. Our last natural queen is Georgia Smith.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I think she's the last one. Anyways, moving on. Spaceships on the Blade.
Spaceships on the Blade.
Spaceships on the Blade. I love Spaceships on the Blade.
Big Larry guy, so you know. I definitely say that's one of the best.
Good job, Larry.
Yeah.
Good job, Larry.
Numbers.
I love Larry. You know what's funny? It's like if you like because he still brings like a hood street, like he was a hood dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he brings aspects of that to his song. But like, if you really step back and listen to it, he's like such like a positive guy.
No, exactly.
And like his message is low key really positive. Where like
positive.
if he wasn't, if it wasn't the way he like incorporates like sort of like his street life into his bars, it would be like almost corny.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's
but
true.
he just does it in a way where it's like it's just fucking smooth. Like, and he's like,
which is a pocket I feel like more rappers need to find of like somewhat more positivity.
Yep.
Also, like, you know, I mean, we're not out here like saying, you know what I mean, oh, Larry June is fake, all that, because like you said, he adds that street cred aspect into it. So it's like we respect him, but he's also coming from like a more like, you know, positive. He's talking about what, drinking juices and fucking
he'll wake
saving
up,
your money, bro.
He'll be like, I wake up, drink us some hot water with some lemon in it, go for a walk, go to my loft, do like 10 push-ups. It's like, okay.
On his bike, bro. You see, he's like a huge biker now. On Instagram. This guy just like bikes around.
Like go on a bike ride for 20 minutes.
You feel me? No, but real shit.
And then I'm back to counting this paper.
For real, exactly. No, but that's exactly how he spits bars. That should be hitting, bro. Like,
facts.
I don't know, like definitely, like, cause like when I first started listening to him, I was like still in college. You know, you said I'm like, you know, you going through class and shit. You listen to him and you're like, dang, bro, like.
Yeah.
This is like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
facts.
I relate to this more so in a way. You know what I mean? Like, this is the shit like you want to aspire to do. Like,
facts. I feel that. I didn't start listening to him until this year, actually, maybe late last year. Richie put me on to him because Richie he like put me onto like Larry and like Jay Worthy and them dudes.
Yeah. Jay
so I just started listening to him this year.
Like, shout out all of them.
Dom was the only. Dom was the. I used to listen to him like back in like high school and college and shit. He was like the OG.
Yeah. So Larry June made some guest appearances back then too. So it's like, you know, they've always been the positive. You know, I rather listen to them than most rappers these days.
I feel that. Next album, Heroes and Villains. Speaking of, we should have transitioned to that earlier, but we're here now.
Yeah, we got
Heroes and Villains. I don't know about Heroes and Villains. I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
I really like the. It's not. I enjoyed it. It has like there's the one song I really love, which I know you know what it is. I love that song with that song with The Weeknd.
This guy's the biggest Weeknd fan I know.
It is is that song with it's just like the best cover. I think it's better than Practice that Drake did and Take Care. You mentioned another one that was really good.
Around Me, the Don Toliver song?
No. Oh, no. Girls Love Beyonce.
Oh,
in terms of covers.
Yeah.
Which is also, actually, I think that one's better than Practice.
Yeah, I do too.
But no, I don't know. That song, because you know what? It was like, just me listening to it, I was like, it was all right. I was like, okay. She was like, when the beat, like when it first dropped, it was like very low key smooth. And then he drops again to like the old school shit. And I was like, oh shit, nigga, it's 2007. like this shit's crazy or whatever that fucking song came out, you know? 21's verse on it wasn't great. I'll admit. It almost kills the song.
Poo-poo, bro. That's what ruins the whole song to me, personally.
You used to ride in a rinky dink. You used to ride in a rinky dink. But other than that, like that Don Toliver song did grow on me. I really like that one. But it's like there were songs that I really liked.
I think The Weeknd should have been on the Don Toliver song, and I think that would have been the best song of like.
I could see that.
I don't even know. I think it would have went crazy.
I could see that.
That's just me.
I don't know. What do you think about it?
I don't know.
Like it's not really getting. It's not getting any replay for me besides that song. Yeah, and even that song, like I personally overplayed it to the point where it's just like I haven't been playing it.
I like some of the one like the Young Thug. Like I like the songs. It's not nothing where I feel like the album is just not really cohesive to me. Even though like Metro's a god of like making transitions and you know doing that, but to me it just doesn't feel cohesive. It's just like picking out what artists, you know, like it's just a super powered album. Sometimes I'm just not a big fan of that, bro. Like sometimes it's just too much going on. But yeah, I'm not. It's definitely not my best albums. It's 2022.
Yeah. Next one, the Dreamville tape. Did you listen to the Dreamville tape when it first came out?
No.
It was solid. It was really good.
Yeah.
I need to go back. I haven't listened to it since it first came out. I think I gave it a solid 2 thumbs up. Give it 3 bags of popcorn. Shout out to fucking the Tim and Eric show, but it was solid. It was good.
Yeah.
Next one. Let's see. Oh, Flawless Like Me.
No, that one.
Flawless Like Me. That shit. It popped my Lucky cherry. That was my first fucking time listening to Lucky.
But you've been sleep, sir.
And I had been sleep.
Lucky's one of the most slept on artists to me.
He's great. He's like, he's great. Especially because he's like, he has definitely like that same, he's definitely heavily influenced by like, Playboi Carti and like Uzi and them. But even Playboi Carti's kind of fallen off. So he kind of revived that sound, that kind of music.
And plus he's coming out of Chicago. So it's like, it's cool to hear like it's not just the same Atlanta, like, okay, he's doing the same Cardi shit, whatever. But out of Chicago, I feel like most rappers are on some like drill music, like Chief, Herbo, like kind of going down that road, and he's just like on this whole other aspect. So
yeah, I feel that.
Like Lucky's the guy.
I feel that. Next one. Now that we're on this Red and White. I almost forgot to put this one on the list. The Uzi one.
Yes.
The Uzi tapes. I think that's like
Got a Glock in my purse.
Got a Glock in my purse. How the fuck is a purse?
Yeah.
Honestly, like I feel like that might be one of the most slept on drops of this year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I feel like people don't talk about it.
People don't talk about it, and I don't. Yeah, exactly. People aren't talking about it. I feel like people like forget that Uzi can come out with no features and go stupid. You know what I'm saying? He can do his thing.
Facts. I mean, but I also feel like the only thing that's just taken away from that album is the I Just Wanna Rock TikTok fucking.
But that song's not on the album.
No, it's not. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like that's taken away. Like I'm saying, like I feel like nobody
you think
cares
the clout
about the
from
album.
that song is
it's
taken
like,
away from the album?
Nobody. You know what I mean?
That,
like at this point, it's like,
damn.
yeah, like nobody wants to hear shit but that. You know, like I see him do the Jersey Club, all the dance moves. And shit. Like that's where it's at. So
yeah.
I feel like he kind of just overshadowed his own album, but I think that album was great though. Yeah, that's definitely one of my tops.
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. So I'm going through this. I'm going through this list right now. What do you say, Wonder Bar?
I said work of art.
Work of art. Work of art.
There's nothing else to say.
I want to go through this list, and I want to see. I want to rank your top three. See if you can rank your top three from this list. And I'll go over the list again. I'm not even going to go through all the ones because I don't think you've heard of all the ones. A lot of stuff.
Well, first of all, you haven't brought up Never Liked You.
Oh, that's on the list.
Okay,
that's on the list.
That should have been the number one.
We're going to get there. So, without further, I Never Liked You.
Yeah, that's number one.
That's number one for you. Okay, we'll go. We can get back to that. But how do you feel about I Never Liked You? I need more Henny.
Future is the god.
Thank you.
There's nothing better than Future in terms of trap music, rap music. For him to bless us with that album, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else to say about the Future. Like,
I thought it was
a classic Future album.
I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it.
Puffin' on Zooties has to be the best song of the year.
Okay, there we go. You touched on something right there. I think the album is fine. I think Puffin' on Zooties is probably one of my favorite songs that's come out this entire year. Puffin' on Zooties is fucking fire. The Drake and Thames and Future one, I'm not crazy about it. It's a big hit.
Yeah, that song.
It's their hit. I'm not like crazy about it. I think it's a good song. I think it's a solid song. And I think what it is too. I just gotta give him. I think I gave it a once over, and I just wasn't like crazy about it. So that's how I felt about I Never Liked You. We already talked about this one. Honestly, never mind. Folks know how we feel about that one.
Yeah. If I had to put it in I put that in my top three as well. You brought it back up. So,
Drip Season Forever. That came out this year.
Yeah.
I almost forgot.
Yeah. That was good. I mean, there's like one-off songs I like, but it's not my favorite Gunna album, like, by far.
I agree.
I think Wanna was like 1,000 times
Wanna
better.
was fire. The Wanna Deluxe.
Yeah.
Wanna Deluxe was crazy.
Deluxe was crazy.
That was like one of the, because like Deluxe, it was like really trendy for like 2 years, like dropping another album.
Yeah.
With like 2 more songs.
Yep.
Like a week later. I feel like that was the only Deluxe album that dropped that felt like a different, like, he dropped like 5 or 6 new songs on it, and he switched the order up of the songs. So I thought the Wanna Deluxe was fire.
Yeah. No, that was great.
Dawn FM.
Don FM.
Don FM.
I mean, I know this is your number one. Off rip.
Is it?
I already know. Yeah, it has to
Is
be.
it?
There's no way it's not.
We'll see.
Look, I like the album. I listen. It's like a good album. I can listen all the way through all the time. I couldn't name you songs off of it, but it's good. Good stuff. I mean, for me, a little bit. I feel like I'm in Stranger Things, and I'll say it again. You know, I'm listening. I'm
Very
like,
Stranger Things.
I'm like, you know, but
Yeah, they bring back that 80s synthy electronic
Yeah.
music vibe.
and what he's been doing. I mean, and like, don't get me wrong. The Weeknd is, you know, a magician with the shit he can do, right? But I still like I'm the type of person that just listens to Trilogy.
You're the type
Like-
of person that
That just
can't
listens
grow
to
with your
Trilogy.
artist, Josh.
Yeah, I
We've had
cannot.
this conversation before.
I cannot. But I could grow with Future. See, that's
You grow
the one
Future.
artist. But he doesn't really grow much. He kind of stays in his
Yeah,
same.
it's just like when he's
Yeah.
on in his pocket, he's on.
Yeah.
But his music isn't like, it doesn't evolve. I don't like
Yeah.
his
No,
music
for
evolves.
sure.
I love Don FM. And it got number one halfway through the year, and we'll see where it's in my rankings at the end of 2022. Let's see. A lot of the rest of these albums, I don't think they're albums that you've heard too much. Oh, did you listen to It's Almost Dry?
No.
Pusha T?
I don't know.
I
did not.
thought the one that he did with Kanye was his best album. People loved It's Almost Dry. I liked it too. But it doesn't beat goddamn, I forgot the name of that album. The one with the Whitney Houston's bathroom on the cover. That Pusha T album, which is the one that he did with Kanye like in 2018. And then there's King's Disease 3, Nas' shit, which I went back. I know you don't listen to Nas.
What did 21 say?
21 said he is irrelevant. Oh, wait, going back to, let's rewind. Going back to, you hear this shit's going on with Gunna right now?
Yeah. Nah,
Is Gunna not, is he not valid no more? Or do you think this is all calculated, like he knows, Young Thug knows what's going on, and this is...
I think it's that side of it. I think it's too many people coming out automatically just saying he's a snitch now without understanding what actually is going on.
This
you see his
isn't
lawyers?
a Tekashi situation, and he's got way more respect out here than Tekashi.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna come to the conclusion yet, but it's looking pretty damning right now.
Yeah.
for him.
I mean, it is, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he admitted it to it being a gang. They
Yeah.
these charges, like, so I don't know, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, though, didn't his lawyer say though, like, that everything in his testimony and pleading guilty, like, can't be used in court against Thug and shit like that? That's what I thought it was. I thought it was something to the nature of, like, you know what I mean? I don't think he did it just to be like, yo, Young Thug, because like there's been 3 members, right, who have now all did the same thing. It's Gunna, like Slime Life Shawty or whatever. He's like one of the newer YSL artists, and I think there was another one who they all pleaded guilty to the RICO charge, and they're out on the same exact situation. So I'm not really sure, but I think it would be more so calculated than to like throw the Don under the bus and everybody else is getting out. Like, come on,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, that has.
I think it is too. So we're gonna sit on that one, and we'll come back to that in a couple of months. I'll come back to that.
You see the light?
Oh, yep. What's next? And then there's, Un Verano Sin Ti, the Bad Bunny album. I think that's like the best album that came out this year in terms of reception
For sure.
and popularity. I thought it was fine.
I mean, but did you see recently on Spotify, like SOS is doing better numbers than like that, or what was it? Something like that? Or she's just like the top global streaming artist currently
right now.
Okay, so it's not like comparing like when
Yeah.
Bad.
We'll see the longevity because the Bad Bunny album came out in like March, I think, and it just keeps getting more popular. And his tour, the way he toured and the tours that I think the tour really amped it too, because that concert was like
you went to
fucking
the
crazy.
concert, right?
Yeah, Fenway, that shit was crazy. I think, and then there's some Griselda albums that came out this year. There's Hitler 10, Hitler Wears Ramirez 10, which I thought was fine. I thought it was really good as an album. And it had fire features. He had like Mos Def, and he had like Black Star on it. He had Bust on it. He had Killer Mike on it. Who else? ASAP on it. So it was a big album. I like Peace Fly God a lot better, to be honest. I think I did at least. No, yeah, I definitely did. But yeah, those were the ones. So I'm gonna run this list down again just to refresh your memory. We got Her Loss, we got SOS, Spaceships on the Blade, Heroes and Villains, The Dreamville Tape, Flawless Like Me, Peace Fly God, Hitler 10, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Honestly Nevermind, Tana Talk 4, which there's another Benny the Butcher album, which I talked about before. I'm not going to go into it again. Two Peas in a Pod, which was the Jay Worthy Larry album. I don't know if you heard that one. That was all right.
No, it was cool.
I Never Liked You, Un Verano Sin Ti, Don FM, Drip Season Forever, Renaissance, which I just threw it on there because I felt like I had to. I didn't listen to it. KD3, King's Disease 3, and Red and White. What's your top 3 out of there?
If I had to say top 3 that are actually getting played in my car, right, it would probably be I Never Liked You, Honestly Nevermind.
Okay. And
then I'd have to say I'm going to give it to Larry as third.
Okay.
If not Red and White, right? If I had to say the best, like, work of the year or whatever, like, you know what I mean, in terms of, like, what actually came out, I would say probably the Bad Bunny album first, because, I mean, that shit is, like, globally number one. I mean,
yeah, sure. I agree.
With the tour, like, the numbers he did, everything he did, I mean, the songs are great. Like, you know, I mean, I would say that. I mean, I can't do Kendrick wrong. Like, he has to be there. You know what I mean? Because that album is, like I said,
unreal.
It's art.
Yeah, it's a work of art.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not something I could just listen to all the time at all.
Right,
but
sure.
The shit is a work of art. And then I probably still put Honestly Nevermind in there.
Okay.
So I'd say those 3.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd have to go with Don FM.
Heroes and Villains, Just Creeping.
Just Creeping, its own album. No, I'd have to go with Don FM. I'd have to go with Mr. Morale. And then I might have to go with Peace Fly God. And I think that was my list. When I did the halfway episode of the year review. So it hasn't changed much for me, although Honestly Nevermind, I think gets an honorable mention. Red and White gets an honorable mention.
Yeah, for sure.
Flawless Like Me gets an honorable mention because like that was the first time I listened to Lucky, so I was amped on just like hearing that sound again and being amped off it. So yeah. Now, do you have any, like, in terms of songs, whether they came out this year or just shit that's been getting a lot of play, what have been your songs this year?
My favorite songs to listen to, anything that Remble puts out.
Remble?
Yes.
Okay.
Remble is the GOAT. I mean, yeah, because I'm from LA, so most of the music I listen to is either from LA or the Bay. I don't know, like, for the most part, I feel like now that I'm getting older, I feel like there's not something that's just getting played. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like I'm listening through the albums. I'm just seeing like, oh, Drake dropped, like Uzi dropped. You know what I mean? I'm not really into it like I used to be. Like, I originally wanted to work in music, so I was a fucking nerd about this shit. Like, now it's kind of just like, you know, I play whatever. Like, honestly, recently I've been playing a lot of Tupac too. Like, on some random shit. You know what I mean?
Some
like
real West Coast shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but not just because like that nigga was hard.
No,
like,
of course,
you
yeah.
feel me? Like, and like to the whole East Coast, like Biggie, like, you know what I mean? Biggie's fire. Like, Biggie's a better rapper. Nas, whatever, better rapper, whatever. But Tupac, my boy, he's like, you know what I'm saying? The hardest, the best delivery to me, period. Like, he's just the guy. So I've been listening to shit like that. Like, it always changes, bro.
Got you.
I don't really have like a artist I'm listening to or anything, like songs.
Mm-hmm. I feel like for me right now,
Creeping
just really took over my December.
Facts.
I liked Starry Eyes on Don FM. Bro, just to get my bag, and then that song London with J. Cole and Bia.
Oh yeah,
fire.
That song is fire.
That song is fire. J. Cole like went on. Yeah, that shit was hard.
I've been
The Benny
listening.
the Butcher and J. Cole song. That's another fire song. And I've been listening to mad oldies this year. I made a whole playlist. And the one song that really I've been really playing back like crazy is the song Much Better Off by Smokey Robinson
Yeah.
and his band.
Yeah.
That was
yeah,
fire.
yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with my music. I've been like making more playlists now in terms of like genres. I've never been like a playlist guy, but
Dude, I used to always
I've
be.
been
That's-
making playlists a lot this year. And
Yeah.
like for vibes and types of music and stuff like that. I've been kind of like experimenting with that. Like it's fun to like a lot of them. It started because like when I would cook a lot, and I still go like I go through spurts with cooking, like where I'll like go like cook a bunch and then like and eat out a bunch or like go to my parents' house and eat,
Yeah.
and then like I would cook a bunch of food and like cooking to like some good music is like some of the most therapeutic shit ever.
No, it is.
It's fucking.
It's
I
always
love
a
it.
good vibe.
It's
Yeah.
always a great
I
vibe.
love it. I mean, shit. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't cooked since I've been here.
Nah, y'all
'Cause
cooked
I'm-
that mac and cheese and the chicken the
Oh,
other day.
Yeah, that was that one.
Yeah,
one
I heard
night,
it was
yeah.
fire.
No, it
I
was
heard
good.
it was fire.
It was good.
I didn't get to try it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, next time
I don't
you
know
get
what my
the invite,
serving was.
Next time I'll come over here and cook it up real quick for you. Nah, so yeah, I always love making that fried chicken.
Yeah.
Bro, I love cooking, but for me, it's just the dishes, the cleanup, the whole idea behind. Like it's always a great time when I'm doing, and after I'm like, fuck, I hate this shit. You know what I mean? So, and then I go into a whole phase of just eating out, which I've been trying to stop. Like if we're going to, and I know you have it on the agenda, like the resolutions, it's gotta be to not eat out as much for me. Like
You gotta cut.
that's
We gotta
number
cut
one.
some. Yeah.
Yeah, that's number one for me, I think.
I think at least with like fast food, especially. I'm a fast food addict. Like I could
Bro.
really like. I could like not go. I can go like some months without eating any, but then I break that once, and then just like I just go ham
Mm-hmm.
on the fast food.
No, I hear you.
I
I mean, I fucking had Burger King for the first time
oh my god.
in the last
Ugh.
probably like since I was in middle school.
That's
I
how
think.
you know.
I
That's
don't-
when
I
that's,
don't never eat
as you
Burger
end up
King.
at Burger King after a night out. That's how you know it's down bad.
Bro.
That's how you know it's down bad, bro.
No, for real. And the worst part is I didn't know that a Whopper does not come with cheese.
No,
And they
a
didn't
Whopper
even-
comes with cheese.
Bro, okay, I left the place and looked this shit up. And niggas was like, they supposed to ask you if you want cheese on it. Ain't nobody asked me if I wanted cheese. Bro, we got home drunk at like 3 with fucking burgers with no cheese. You know how that
That's
feels?
ugly. That's so ugly. I didn't know that. That's fucking disgusting.
Terrible.
So 2022 has brought us some good music, right? It has also brought us some unhinged moments from people we hold dear in our heart, from people that are held in some in famous or infamous regard in the world at large. And let's take a step back and review some of that. Honestly, I don't even want to start with Kanye because
That's really the biggest moment. Like that's
he could have his own top 5 from this year
moments.
alone.
Facts.
Let's start with Will Smith. Remember Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock?
Yeah, that was a
That happened on the eve of my first video episode. So I was very excited to talk about that. First time filming this podcast with video and upping the YouTube channel. He has seemed to pivot from it. He's like kind of gotten out of his hole. He's been on social media again. He got movies coming out again.
But that was a terrible.
That was
moment
a
for
very
black
unhinged
males.
moment. Yeah, that was a very unhinged moment.
Crazy.
We got Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
Kyrie Irving. What are your thoughts on Kyrie Irving?
My thoughts on Kyrie Irving is, I mean, honestly, I think the thoughts are more so around how he's been treated because I feel like I understand,
Yep.
yes, he should have never posted the video. Do I think that he deserves this backlash of pretty much almost losing his career, in a way for that?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so at all. And do I think, because like for the most part, like it seems like most of these like Kanye, Will, all these situations, like these guys are just like pen up of some type of trauma and
Oh yeah, there's
something
just a
that's
lot.
just coming out and projecting in this way, right? Like I feel like Kyrie's thing was kind of, I don't think it was anything of that nature. I feel like it's somewhat calculated in a way, or like, you know, like I feel like he came out at a time doing that when Kanye was already making that whole statement about, you know, I mean, how that's not, you know what I mean, but
We'll get
how
into it, yeah.
people empower
How he
different
loves
communities.
Hitler, yeah.
You know, pretty
He
much.
loves Hitler, yeah. He
You know?
loves Hitler.
Which was crazy, dude. On whose was it? It was like Alex Jones.
Yeah, the Infowars shit.
Oh my god.
Which is also calculated,
Why
I
would
feel,
you?
because he wore a mask that whole interview.
Yeah, he did.
All right, no face, no case.
Yeah, he's been doing that.
He's been doing that a lot with his Hitler talk. He knows to wear a mask.
That's his whole thing now.
Antonio Brown was low key a slept. I would say he's the most underrated, unhated person of this year.
Yeah, but I feel like at this point it's like overdone. It's like, bro, do we care about Antonio Brown?
No one cares about
anymore?
Antonio Brown like that. But like,
Yeah.
there was that whole thing that came out earlier this year where he was like in Vegas or some shit, and he was like naked in a pool.
Yeah, with
And he was
fucking
just like
dick out,
grabbing
yeah.
some old lady and just
Yeah.
like putting her face like in his dick, like in his crotch and shit.
No, literally.
And then like the most recent though, he had like a standoff with the police,
For real,
like in his house.
didn't
Yeah.
see that. Yeah.
I don't know what it was about, but yeah, he had like a standoff in the police,
Yeah.
and just like the trickled like spurts of him coming at Tom Brady this whole
Yeah.
year, like him photoshopping himself with like Giselle and shit
yeah.
like that. This thing is going crazy, bro.
No, he is, bro.
Andrew Tate is another one. How do you feel about Andrew Tate?
I think the shit is comedy to me. I mean,
I think it's funny. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says. I think he's more calculated than people give him credit for. And I also just don't believe in just like censoring somebody off the rip. You know?
yeah.
Just like, you know what I'm saying? Because they deleted. I mean, I think he's back on like, what is he? He's back on Twitter now. I think a lot of people are back on Twitter now because of Elon Musk. But like it's just like they were so quick to just remove him from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, even just to talk about that whole Twitter situation, though, like, yeah, it's like they brought back some people who might deserve a voice, but at the same time, it's like, dude, like, the shit that you see on Twitter now, though, like right after that happened, was fucking nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and we're you know what I mean? All this shit going up. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think like there should be more freedom of speech in general. Like even with like the Kyrie situation, I know he wasn't even trying to make a point or anything with what he posted.
Yeah.
But for them to like attack him as being what he is, and like realistically, like what do they say? All the other shit where it's like Amazon. Right, like Amazon's like not taking the book down. Like Amazon's able to make millions off of selling the book.
Yes, and you know what it is? This list. All right, no, go on.
Yeah, go get into it.
Because there's something I noticed, and this may be my own shortcoming. Maybe this is how we're being conditioned to think right now, because this is all the players getting the media. But I forgot to add some other moments in this list that is coming to me now, like Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
There's Brett Favre.
Yeah.
The whole double standard of Kyrie getting all the blame and and Amazon not getting anything.
Because I mean, but if you look at the list too, like, and I don't even think it's a product of how media is set out these days. Like, all the unhinged moments or black guys. You know what I'm saying? And all the white people shit.
They're getting demonized.
It's like the Jerry Jones shit was nuts, bro. Like
the Jerry Jones is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and then to hear him say like, "Oh, I didn't even know what was like going on," type of energy.
Yeah.
Like what he gave that statement after, it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Facts.
You knew exactly what the fuck was going on. You were in Texas, in
right?
Like the fucking 60s. Like you were racist. Your family was racist. Bro.
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
Don't try to like.
And did you see the Dr. Umar Johnson shit?
Yeah,
he talked about that too, and he was like, but honestly, I'm like,
well, so what do you say about the Jerry Jones shit?
Well, he was just basically saying, he was like, Jerry Jones saying all this shit that he didn't know anything about it, like what it was gonna be, and he just kind of showed up or
that's
whatever.
What I seen him say.
He's like, that's bullshit, because apparently his coach told him not to go there because you're gonna be looking for nothing but trouble.
Oh, so he
like,
was told
he was told not to go there, and
yeah,
like
bro,
all this
that's
shit,
crazy.
like Also, he brought up the fact that like when that whole Colin Kaepernick situation was at its height,
Yeah,
he basically said like if any of my players take a knee, like they can just get
off the
they
team,
can get off
right?
the fucking team because
Yeah,
we don't
I
stand for
remember
that shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, he's still owning the fucking, he's still out here living his best life.
Yeah, no.
With no consequences or repercussions, which is fucking, it's crazy. And it's like,
No, Roger Goodell lives a crazy life, bro. Like,
Roger,
he's like
Roger Goodell,
bro. The NFL has to be the most corrupt, like, fucking sports
no fun
organization, dude. Like,
the no fun league,
yeah, no, literally,
the NFL. But and then there's Kanye, bro.
Yeah,
Then there's fucking Kanye. Do you think he can come back from this?
Yes, I do.
You think he can come back from this? I don't know. I'm not so sure. He's had throughout the years. He's had a lot, but I think he might have gone too
Done
far.
himself in?
I think it might have gone too far.
Yeah.
I think if he comes back, he would have to go into hiding for like at least a year.
So tell me this. This is my thinking of it. If he were to start releasing his own shoe now, you think nobody will buy it? If he's releasing it under his own production,
I
don't think people are going to buy the shoe?
I think people are going to buy the shoe.
100%.
I think people are going to buy the shoe.
And do you think people will still listen to his music if he's putting it out? He's out of, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what contracts in terms of his music he's still in or out of. But, his whole mission was to get out of all these fucking contracts. So now he can do everything on his own time in a way and for himself. FUBU, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, FUBU, yeah, right.
Right? So, like, I think he can still get the shit off. The only problem I have is, like, he just is, like, I don't know. Like, you never know where he stands. Like, you know what I'm saying? One moment, he's, like, saying the crazy-ass shit about, the industry and who's running the industry, whatever. Then, like, the next moment, he's, like, trying to say, oh, like, you're trying to stand up for black people and do this whole thing.
Right.
And then the next moment, he's like next to fucking Donald Trump, like,
right.
Supporting his campaign. Just like, so my problem with him is I think he can come back from this. I just don't think he understands where he's at.
Yeah.
Within himself and within how he wants to project his whole narrative story, like whatever you want to call it. Because
I don't know. I think people will still buy his shoes and his clothes. It speaks like that, like, I think people still listen to his music.
So, like, what's coming back? Like,
but I think coming back,
respect for,
I just, like, are people going to be able to like him? Like, because he'll do all this crazy shit, but people have always found their way, myself included, to, like, defend him. But it's just, like, I don't know. But it's crazy, too, because it's, like, I feel like, listen, I know how crazy this might sound, but I feel like despite all of this shit he said about, especially with Hitler and all that, I still don't see him as I still can't call him an anti-Semite.
And
I don't think he's an anti-Semitic person. I think he's saying a lot of I think his messaging is coming out very anti-Semitically.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I think he needs, how Key and Peele had that skit, like the hood translator with Obama. Yeah. I think that's what he needs. That, like, I think he needs somebody who knows him to his core and what he's trying to say, and just explain for him what he's actually trying to say. Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
He's not able to at all articulate the message that he's trying to get off.
Right.
And I feel like,
at least in a way where we will understand. Yeah.
And I mean, at a point, like, there's certain points in it where I do understand what he's trying to do and what he's trying to say. And I mean, he's not, like, wrong. Let me say he's not wrong in terms of, like, certain things about how the industry's run.
Right,
like,
of course, yeah.
Like,
it's stuff that a lot of people have been saying for years now.
Yeah.
But the way he's going about the messaging is what's
so wrong. Like, but he's also soft spot. It's like he's trying to, like, draw attention, or he's like trying to make, not trying to make clickbait, but at a point, I feel like
it seems it starts for attention.
Yeah, like he's just trying to say. I feel like he's just trying to say shit to, like, make people, like, look, like,
people look and click.
Like, oh, okay, this guy's talking about fucking I love Hitler. Like,
I love things about Hitler.
Like, which is so crazy. He's like, he invented this. He's like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And like, and then, but then the next day he'll come out talking about he's supposed to be preaching a black message. It's like, come on, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah,
bro?
no, it's crazy.
What the fuck are you saying, bro? Like, you stand by two like of the most racist like figures, and I mean, and I bring up Donald Trump and fucking Hitler, right? If you're gonna stand by both of those things, it's like, come on now, you're standing by the most racist shit. And I feel like that's also a product of him feeling like he's like the black community doesn't support him, you know, which we know at this point he's.
But
just like,
and a lot of that has to do with people. People feel like he's just caping for white attention,
and he is
constantly. Yeah,
and he is
right.
That's what he does.
But yeah, those are some of the most unhinged moments. Also, honorable mention the "Don't Worry, Darling" thing. I don't know if you followed that. It was like kind of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. That shit was going on.
Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, the Olivia Wilde shit.
I just saw she's like cheating like on her man, right? Or like
during her whole movie premiere, there was like a lot of issue within the cast. Like one cast member like spit on another one, like in like live in like a live panel, which is like kind of debunked. But there was just like a lot of shit, and it was just like very like I don't know. And I heard the movie was so bad that it was good. You know?
Yeah, I seen a lot of shit about the movie and her just like trying to make it about like very like woman feminist like but she had beef. I seen that she also had beef though with the main actress.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. There was beef with the main actress there.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not I mean, what was the other movie she did that was really successful, right? Olivia Wilde directed a movie prior to this, or I believe, and then it was like a hit.
I don't know. But let's move on. Let's talk more about ourselves. Instead of talking shit about these people that make a lot more money than us, let's talk about our lives. What's been some highlights for you with 2022?
Highlights for me 2022. Say starting my new job.
Okay, yeah.
Definitely
shout out to that. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You graduated this last year?
Last year.
Yep.
And so I started at the same company, but I kind of moved within the company to a smaller team of people. You know, I feel like I'm learning a lot more about the industry and, you know, how things actually work and not just kind of in a place of like, oh, I'm just pumping out shit because they asked me for this.
Right.
You know, like now it's more so like I'm really connecting. So I say that. Definitely number 1. 2, Europe. Nigga, that shit was
Europe. Yeah, hell
nuts.
yeah. Yeah, you guys and Vanessa went to Europe.
Yeah, bro.
Which sounded like a dope trip.
Nah, facts. I mean, fucking Italy, Spain, you know. So, that was beautiful, bro. If anything, like, just take me back there. Like, I just need to do that again every year. Like, that's the goal now. You know what I mean? Like, traveling is the best thing I feel like you could do for yourself and just like in general in terms of just seeing some new shit, being around something new. You know, you get a break from what you're used to seeing in your normal life. Like, you know, it's just very therapeutic. It's nice. So I'd say those are probably 2 of the biggest moments, as well as right after Europe. I mean, I moved out here, so which has been nuts.
Is that a highlight though? You can be honest. I mean, I don't know if you.
So no, I was about to get into.
I was gonna say because I feel like that's a big transition for you.
So like, it's like a double-edged sword. Like is great. You feel me? Like I love it because it's like a break from fucking LA and like, you know, I was in that like trying to do music and trying to be in this industry like entertainment and that shit's a fucking like.
Is that something you want to get into as well? Or no? You want to say that for another day?
What?
Your shit, like just your.
Nah, we get into whatever, bro. But
continue.
Yeah, like I just feel like LA got to be a clusterfuck at a point where, right, like you're just like everybody's trying to be somebody too much, and at a point I was like, dude, I got my fucking job. Like I'm just gonna sit on it, do my own thing, try to keep my head down. But it's like almost impossible in LA, right? Like definitely when like all the people you know, you've been around, you know, like that's your circle. It's like everybody who wants to be somebody. So at a point, coming out here is like a fucking breath of fresh air. Beautiful. Like, I could just like golf, chill, hang out with you guys. You know what I'm saying? The family, you know, like things like that. Like It's definitely a different switch up. I mean, of course, like I miss my family,
Right.
and I fucking do not like. I mean, it's snowing.
Yeah,
It snowed on Sunday.
Yeah,
They got,
this weather's new for you.
yeah, you know, bro. Like I walked outside, and it's like still like ice and shit on the driveway. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, nigga, this is how niggas die.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, bro, like that's my first thought. Like I'm like, bro, I don't even know like how this shit works. Like driving in snow, ice, all that shit. So I'd say like, yeah, there's a highlight to it. I feel like it's definitely something that pretty much made this year what it is too as well. You know, like for the most part, it was like prepping to come out here, and like, you know, Vanessa got into school, so you know that's always a blessing. So I'd say it's a highlight.
All right, hell yeah. Can you, before we continue, can you turn on that lamp real quick? I'm gonna see if it, because it's getting dark here now. Let's see if that does some justice. Oh, that's not bad. Let's see. That's good. That's good. We're good.
Bet.
Bought us some time. For me, highlights of 2022. I'm like knee deep into. It was actually this year. It's weird because when you work at a school, the fact that the year is like, you know, there's a calendar year and then the school year, and the way that's broken up, it makes, when you think about like the calendar year, what happened in the calendar year, you might be like, oh shit, that was this year, because I'm in the school year schedule, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was this year when I finally decided that I was gonna get my master's in education. It was, I think in February, I made the decision. I took my first class in April. I just finished my second prereq class, and I'm on to the third. But I have finalized everything for my application, and I'm gonna get that in on Wednesday. So that's exciting.
Now.
Another big one, which is a recent one. It wasn't on something I was thinking about until it literally happened. So for one of my classes, there was sort of a clinical experience of the class where you have to go to, you know, work at a school in Providence and spend time there. So I did that once a week for 2 hours, and it was a reading specialist group.
Yeah.
With fourth graders. What's up?
You led the whole like class.
So I was in the classroom. So while class went on and they did their own thing, I was in the corner of the classroom with my 4 students, and we did, you know, stuff to help them with their, because they were really behind. They're in 4th grade. It was very like upsetting and
humbling,
and humbling to see, not only because of the public school system here in Providence, but also just because of COVID. Yeah. Just like that remote, like, you know, that period of just like shitty education and learning online really left a lot of students behind.
No, for sure.
And by the end of it, 2 of my students went up a reading level.
Okay.
And like they were super excited to tell me, and like they were really bummed out on my last day. And then the teacher of that class on my last day was like straight up like in front of the whole class was like, Mr. Garcia, like you are the best, because like they get volunteers through this program.
Yeah.
Like, you know, every year.
Yeah.
Or every semester, however they do it. And they were like, you are by far like the best volunteer we ever had. Yeah. Like, you know, they like, I don't know where these guys would be without, you know, your help here, like every week with them when they're reading, like, you know, this person, they went up, they moved up in their reading level. This next student they're taking their test, you know, this week to move up in a reading level. So I was like, damn, it was like the first time as an educator in the last 3 years of me starting to become an educator, where it's just like, you feel like your efforts directly correlated to like their success. Yeah. Which like you feel it, fine. You know, you see it and you feel it, like, but it's never as direct as it was like, oh, if it wasn't for you, this wouldn't have happened. Yeah. And that felt, and I'm not a ELA, I'm not a language arts, I'm not a reading specialist type, but that's not my specialty. Like I want to be a math teacher, you know? Yeah. So that was like really like, I was like, damn, like shit, dope. That's fucking dope. You know?
That's dope.
This summer was great, especially compared to last summer. I just worked so much and I didn't do any type of vacationing type stuff. I went to the beach more times in like that week of the 4th of July this year than I did all of last year. Yeah, I had a lot of fun trips this summer. Long Beach Island for my friend Alex's birthday. She was on the show, you know, a couple months ago. Shout out to her. I was in DR. I went to DR for my by myself for the first time ever, which was dope. I spent like the first 3 days with family, but then I did like my own thing. I got my own Airbnb at this beach town and did my own thing there.
Yeah, that's dope.
And like made some friends and that was dope. And yeah, that's kind of been those have been my highlights so far.
Yeah.
Do you have any resolutions? What are your resolutions for next year?
Resolutions. You know, like even just piggybacking off your last point too, just in terms of like, you know, that gratification of like feeling like you actually helped. That's something that too, like I've been thinking more so like, damn, I gotta use like what I've learned to also give back, you know?
Yep.
So like my job, they have like they have a program where we can do some volunteer work, but I mean it's back in LA. So now I gotta like kind of figure out something new to do that, because you know that's like so rewarding to feel like, okay, like I can actually make somebody better off, you know, like because realistically, like in my job, and I don't feel like I definitely do help people. It's just our clientele is all richer, wealthier folk. Which, I mean, if you don't know what I do, also like, so I work.
Explain to my audience what you do.
So I work as an analyst for a financial advisor. So we only pretty much all of our clientele right now is entrepreneurs, a lot of just like, you know, old money, things like that. But yeah, so you know, it's rewarding. Like we do help, we do a lot, we service them, you know, whatever. We get what we deserve, but at the same time, I think there's an aspect in it where it's like, goddamn, I want to get back to like helping at a public school. You know what I mean? Like things like that where it's like you could teach a kid who, like the people who are privileged enough to hire us, like, you know, they're already in a situation where yes, they need our help, but they don't need our help as much as like, you know what I mean, 99% of the fucking population.
Right.
So it's like, I think that's something I want to do for myself to make myself feel, you know, better and going forward. And, you know, just like feel like I'm giving back to something. So that's one of my resolutions. I want to try and figure out a way to kind of give back. And then the second one, like I said, fucking fast food, bro. That shit fucked me over. COVID fucked me over, dude.
Oh yeah.
COVID fucked me over. Like they said COVID 20. I gained like a cool 60 off of McDonald's and fucking like
just fast food
unemployment bullshit, bro. Like just bullshitting, like, you know, for so long. So I think just getting back to that would definitely be another resolution. That's really it, though. I mean, I don't know. Like resolution is almost
resolution, goals too. Like New Year's resolutions, like the, you know,
it's like the
quote unquote, yeah.
Like, bro, you're not
just
gonna do shit,
any goals that you have, I guess, too, in the forefront.
Yeah, I think those are two of my biggest goals.
Yeah.
I'd say.
No, that's dope though. That's good.
Yeah.
That's especially with like, you know, like helping, you know, like just financial literacy and like all that shit. Like that's very
exactly, because it's needed. Because we don't get that, you know, like especially like someone who doesn't come from, like, realistically, it doesn't come from the schools. You know what I mean? Like school system, education system.
Yeah, they don't teach you how to manage money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so where do you get that? Like from your parents, for the most part, if you're not getting it from school. And you're like, who's surrounding you? So family. And if your family don't got money like that, then like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, they're not going to have the knowledge to bestow upon you. Like, so at a point, it's like, that's definitely a gap that needs to be filled. So.
Yeah. I feel that. I think for me, it's still just like podcast stuff. It's a lot of stuff that I had last year. So the ones that I had from last year, there's some that I've checked off pretty well. Some that I slacked on. Like, big one was getting video for the podcast. Check. For some, it was like developing a segment that I was kind of big on last year, which was like the reading yourself, where I was just like, it was basically not just being stupid on this podcast all the time and talking shit, which I don't do all the time, but like, you know, I tried to bring some sort of substance to this through just like things that, like, you know, bringing knowledge from stuff that I read.
Yeah,
that one was a big one to develop that segment, and I kind of slacked on that one. I won't front. But I have pivoted and I've added other segments to this podcast. So I think more along those lines. I want more guests.
Yeah.
On this podcast. I want to branch out more in terms of like I need to start getting comfortable having conversations because even right now like I'm having a conversation with you which is like a comfortable because I know you, right?
Yeah.
You're a friend, you're my brother.
My brother,
My brother.
bro, you sound like Leslie at this point, bro.
Right, I know.
Every day, Leslie, man.
I had that, my first guest here was Michael, who was literally my co-host for a year. And then like friends from New York, but like there's people that I want to have on here, that aren't necessarily like that I have that relationship with that. So it would be a lot of me
Bro,
just
light
like,
just went
that light just did go fucking
Not
crazy.
to cut you off, my God.
No, I really did though. It's whatever. But get better lighting for this show. So
There you go.
so that I can start recording at night. That's the goal.
Key.
And also just I need to. I think my resolution is more just like continue because I feel like this year more than the past 3 years since I moved back from New York, the last 2.5 years I've spent developing healthy habits and kicking bad ones. And these next 2 years is going to be very important for me to maintain those habits. So I think that's because like this ankle was a setback in a lot of ways. I know I've talked about my ankle before here, but now I got to get surgery on my ankle. So I'm going to be out of commission in terms of like not being able to like, move around and be, exercise.
Is this the first time you're getting a surgery?
Yeah. It's the first time getting a surgery for anything.
That shit is nuts.
Yeah.
I've had 3 knee surgeries.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think it's also crazy. I didn't know you because you said when you tore your ACL, you said you were like I mean, you couldn't like play basketball and shit like that, but like you were working out on it. Like you were.
Yeah, because I tore my ACL and then I was just like, I mean, pretty much like, it was fucked up when it happened. And then like a couple weeks, all the swelling went down and I was able to like return to just normal shit, like working, school, whatever, like starting to like try and lift again here and there, whatever. And at a point, like they told me, yeah, your fucking shit is gone. Cause I was like, I had this hope, you know what I mean? Where you're just like, nah, it's not torn, bro. Like I'm so good. Like I'll be good now. Like, no, they shit on my whole like idea of like whatever. So I took a whole year of just like, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to have a torn ACL. Like, I'm just not going to get the surgery right away. Cause bro, like surgery, like after doing it twice already, like I already knew what I was in for. And it's like, bro, that shit's a fucking like long haul of just like, I don't know. Like, bro, like you can't like help yourself for like a week or so. Like,
right. Yeah.
Or 2 weeks, whatever. I don't know. Depending on the surgery, it's like, bro, that shit sucks. And then like, on your rebound from it, it's like you really got to take that shit so serious, like because even like, and that's one thing too, like for my ACL, I think I regret, which I would say for you, like that should be a resolution.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, coming off of it, like you should just be, because like, I mean, COVID happened, so it was like very hard for me to like, I couldn't even go to PT places because they fucking were like doing whatever. But like being on top of that kind of stuff, like in terms of your own like health, like bro, like that shit just like, is so hard to do when you can't do anything. Like you're literally gonna learn how to walk again. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of energy, and that shit is hard to like put up with and do and learn to run again. But I mean, pushing it forward, like off my first 2, like I was still playing sports, so it was like it's easier for me to have a goal of like, bro, I need this. Like I need to be like back to where I was, if not stronger. And after like now that I'm like more in I have a desk job in a way. So it's like I was kind of like, fuck it, like whatever, And now I look back, I'm like, damn, fuck that, like, you know what I mean? So stay on it, because that shit is very, very crazy.
Yeah. God damn. So you were, let's see, we could keep going. How you feeling?
Just got sad as hell. like a nigga just started spilling his guts, like, bruh, surgery, man.
Yeah, fucking. No, I was gonna say you were in the we're definitely jumping back to a topic we touched on. You were in the entertainment industry for a bit. Like that's you kind of started your career. Can I say, is that true?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, cause like, okay, so like my original goal off rip was to become a business manager, which is an accountant for entertainers, athletes, rich people, right? Like you run like a family office, they can call it, but it's like you pretty much handle all bills, all taxes, all everything. You're looking over, who they're investing their money with, what they're doing. You pretty much have your hand in like everything they do financially, So
Sure.
that's what I wanted to do originally because I went into accounting, and that's kind of where I wanted to go. And then one of my homies, he his dad was a manager of some actors, stuff like that. And so he kind of was putting me onto game, like going to private school, you learn like, damn, like there's so many routes to like make this bread besides like being an athlete or like just doing the normal shit. So from there, I took that and we started a company and we went into that company. We pretty much started a talent management company. So we signed our first like Toronto like rapper / R&B artist.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
that's who we had signed, which is funny because it's like being young and like, having to learn through all the experiences. It's like,
Yeah.
But so we did that. We signed the artist. Like we took him. We were putting out his albums, doing all this shit. Like learning the ins and outs. Like trying to get him deals. Getting them deals. Like getting them signed. We got like 30 bands for like from Performing Rights Organization. People don't really know much about PROs, but like it's like publishing type of shit, right?
Yeah.
And so we got him like a 30K like advance for this and that, and we were going on tours, doing all this shit or whatever. All in all, it didn't end up panning out because I realized like a lot of people in the industry just love to say shit. And they never like you could have like 10 meetings with labels, and out of all 10 meetings, they'll all be like gassing you and just like blowing smoke up your ass the whole entire time.
Yeah.
And then when you like a month later, you're like, yo, or hey,
like where are we?
It's like there was never anything. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at a point, I was just like, bro, I can't deal with that shit. Like, that's not for me. And
do you have any like? Is there anything like or is there like any specific like stories like that you have that you could share, or like I don't know or that you either feel comfortable sharing or like want to share? Either I mean because I don't even think I've had this conversation with you like like in terms of like how it came and went for you.
Like I don't have like many specific stories off the top of my head where I'm like, wow. But if I like were to start thinking back and thinking about shit, I'd be like, yeah, that was crazy. This is, I mean, it was just for the most part, like, I mean, being
sun's right in my eyes.
Yeah, bro is blinded. But being like,
that's God being like, all right, end the episode.
On God. But it's like just being in LA. It's like,
yeah.
That's really like, where the end of it came when I was just like, bro, I'm really not as jaded by everybody else about this shit, right? Like, fucking like, the artist. So the artist we started working with, like, I just want to break it down. So pretty much, I have a good friend. He's like amazing at photography. He does photography for like, bro, we were in high school. He was like 2-3 years younger than me, but he was like a fucking freshman, right? Like, this guy was like, he pretty much was like interning for ASAP Mob, like whatever, like, right? So he would go take photos of them, and pretty much Bari, like, would have him like fucking like taking like strippers to the airport and back and forth. And this nigga would be doing like assistant type work, like literally like he's a 15-year-old like driving these strippers back and forth for these niggas, like just so he could take photos. You know what I'm saying? And his shit blew up though, and he knew a lot of people, and through that, we were all just like meeting all these fucking people, and so we met the artist through them, like pretty much the ASAP camp like flew him out and had him come, whatever. Started doing songs with like all these big names, and shit, and it got to a point where like, okay, he wanted to fuck with us. We saw the good pitch. We were just like, bro, like, we're not gonna, like, I don't know what ASAP's gonna do with you, but we're gonna be here. We're gonna care for you. We're gonna give you something that's not just like you get thrown into the whole like factory type of energy, because that's what all these labels do. Like, it's crazy because like so out of that, like, there was like 2 or 3 artists I had met, right? And like, so one of them, he gets signed to blah, 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 and he, he's putting out songs, whatever. Okay, he puts out a couple singles.
Who was it?
It's Swoosh. I don't know if you know who this is.
Okay, yeah,
he's like
a
very supple, right? But he got it's like he's from New York. He's flown out to LA, right? By like ASAP, all this shit. Like, So they're like, okay, put him into the, he's gonna be somebody, whatever. And that's the whole hype around it. Everybody thinks this, whatever. It's like, and then, but they sign him, or Cardi signed. I can't remember who signed him exactly, but he signed Interscope, right? And so in the Interscope machine, right, like first of all, like they have probably like 3 or 4 artists that are really making them all their fucking money, like
Right.
Kendrick, Travis, like shit like that, right? And then the older artists they have, but they have hundreds of artists who are signed to them,
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is like, so let's say Swoosh like tries to put his album out, they're like, pretty much it's this person's time, it's this person's time, it's this person's time. So you sign that contract, which is why going back to like the Joe Budden thing, like that contract situation, it's like going into these contracts, they like all fuck you over. And it's sad to see that like Joe Budden's fucking over another like brother.
And that's
you know what
another
I'm saying?
And that's the thing with him too, is like his whole thing is that he loves shitting on record labels. His whole thing, he loves shitting on record labels and
But
these shitty
then goes to do
contracts.
the same
and
shit.
now he's doing the same shit. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is what I think a problem is with a lot of this shit is like even with Kanye, with all this shit, right? It's like an aspect of like, okay, you're a black man, you're trying to be successful. And when you, in your idea, in your head, you're like, I'm going to help out other black men do, what I did type of shit. And I feel like that's what they're going for. But when you get to that point where you start to feel the power and the money and you understand how the structure and the infrastructure of all these businesses is made, like the music industry, like, how it's set up and who runs it and how they run it, like, it's hard to fucking just like completely pivot and do your own thing and then gain the respect, like, from the industry. Yep. It's like, you really can't, like, you kind of gotta mold into it and then try and find ways to like pick at it, which is what I feel like Kanye's been doing for so long and all these people have been doing for so long that eventually you fucking blow up and you talk about like Hitler, you know what I'm saying? Like, because of the shit, like, but to get back to the point, it's just like, imagine you like wanting to run your podcast and they tell you, no, you can't release on this day. You can't release on this day. But what you signed a deal that's advancing you, let's say like a couple $100,000, which is a loan, realistically, because they signed you to a 360 deal. So all revenue you make from there on touring, merch, and music, publishing, everything, they get a percentage of whatever that is, right? And they're going to want to recoup their loan. But you're in a situation now where you have a loan, you want to make money, and these motherfuckers are telling you can't put your album out. So how the fuck are you supposed to make the money back?
Yeah.
You can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just literally in a trap situation where now you go to like SoundCloud and all this shit, and that's where all these like.
And now artists are starting to they can manage themselves.
Yeah, they're going independent. Yeah. They're doing the whole anybody can put out shit on Apple Music through all these distribution companies like DistroKid, all these things. Because like, I guess you would want like you sign the deal because A, you think that's the thing you're supposed to do because now you're big time, right? And then B, it's like, they do offer you the service of like marketing, and I mean they run all this shit, like they're gonna put money behind you, but that's what they tell you, and to a point they stop. So then what the fuck happens? You know what I mean? That's another thing where I was just like, look, like we're at a point in it where we're not even in any of these, we weren't deep into any of these deals. Like the artist was like, he was good. He just didn't want it enough. So that's really where it fell apart, When he didn't want it enough, as bad as we wanted it, it was just like, okay, we're spending money and time into like talent, which is like our product we're trying to sell that he's not even wanting to sell himself. So we got to a point where we just we try to switch gears, right? And do like producers and other things. It just didn't, and then from there, but at that point, I had a sour taste in my mouth because I was like, look, the way this industry works is like, it's pretty fucked. It's like, you're just going for like a quick little sum of money that's really just a loan that you're paying back to this person. And unless you really want to work fucking hard as shit, which most artists don't want to do, you know what I mean? You're not going to be independent and be happy and have your own publishing and own everything, which is like why I respect all these people coming out nowadays talking about ownership, that's the name of the game is ownership. But so and I mean back to what Kanye's saying, like, his point is true, like, right, like he has a point in terms of like we don't own our own music, we don't own what everything, like, I mean we make them money, like you know what I mean. We make Interscope makes a shit ton of money, right? Off of what, Tupac, off of like fucking you know.
So off all these dead artists too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is like a whole nother thing. Like, have you seen those conspiracies about that shit too?
No.
So it's like a lot of conspiracies about the life insurance policies they sign on behalf of these rappers and artists, right? Because it's their investment. Like, let's say it's pretty much like, okay, I'm putting $1 million behind you. You're an investment of mine, whatever. I'm gonna need a life insurance policy in case you die, so I can recoup my investment plus, right? To like make up for whatever I lose by you passing away. So there's like all these fucking things coming out now that are saying like, well, what if they're like somewhat, you know, and it's just, of course, it's speculation. Like, who knows? I haven't looked into it that far, but it's like the fact that they know they get a crazy payout when you die is fucking nuts. You know what I mean?
And then arguably they're making more money when you die.
Yeah.
After you die.
Because they're still collecting off of your streams.
Right.
And what happens when all these artists die? Like, the fucking streams go
through the roof. Yeah.
Like, they go crazy. So it's like they're making more money off the streaming, and like they collect the life insurance policies, which life insurance policies are where they're structured. I mean, you're making a shit ton of money off of that. You know what I'm saying? Which is like fucked up. And I don't want to say like this is what's happening because I have no, you know, like these are just things that you hear, and it's like, well, that seems like very valid because of the way the industries run, you know, and like it has to be a thing. So it's just very interesting, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man, it's crazy. It's nuts. I talk about that a lot, or the prospect of that a lot on this show. Just like entertaining the idea of like if somehow I achieve a next level and what that would look like for me.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, there's a lot of layers to it, because there's what I'm pursuing now, which is education, right? But the stuff that I talk about on this show isn't necessarily, you know, it's like I can't have both.
Yeah.
I can't have both.
Yeah, you can't.
And I get a lot of anxiety about that. And like I think about that a lot in terms of like shit, like what, like one day, it's just going to be one day where Fulano is going to listen to the wrong episode, and like, you know, my plan as an educator is going to go to shit because of that, right?
Like, exactly.
But I also this is also like a dream of mine as well. And the disconnect is that I don't know what it's like. I'm trying to figure out how to elevate this. Like sometimes I feel like I can't elevate this podcast while also I have to give up something. Like at some point I'm gonna have to give up something. That's in my head.
Yeah.
And that might never happen.
Yeah.
And this might be it. This wall and these 3 cameras and these 2 mics might be it for the rest of my life. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm fine with, right?
Yeah,
but the dream is also
the hardest part though for anybody also to like,
right.
You know,
Just but the dream is enticing. And if it does ever get to the point where it's just like my career as an educator could go to shit, right? It's like, okay, like, so am I just gonna take that leap of faith, and am I gonna go all in on this? And then if I do and it pans out, it's like, damn, like that, like the ugliness, because that's what it is. Like, I mean, you kind of touched on it, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that we see all the time, but just like the ugliness of this industry and this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Is like a scary prospect as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a lot, but the only thing that what I will say is that the only thing that grounds me when I decide to set these cameras up and to set this mixer up and to invite you or whoever it may be on this show, or just to record by myself, is am I having a good time doing this? Am I doing this because I want to get famous and get rich? Am I doing this for some false reason? Oh, I think that's Jesse right there. Gee, that's fucking Jesse who just drove by.
Yeah, Jesse, where's my North Face at, my boy?
Jesse, where's that North Face? You're in that group chat, right? Where his girl blew him up?
Nah, I didn't.
Oh, you probably didn't see it. You're in the group chat.
Oh, man.
The girl was basically just like, "Oh yeah, if anybody needs ski gear for the trip, just hit up Jesse." He's like, "Wow, what are you doing?"
I'm dead.
But what was I saying? But like, yeah, I mean, like, so I mean, at the end of the day, when I ask myself those questions, I like the answer that I come up with. It's like, yeah, I enjoy doing this. It doesn't kill me that I average fucking, 9 to, that I average 9 to fucking 15 views on each episode. Like, that could be my life, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But
I also think that's another thing too. Like, just like, cause like another thing is you are in terms like when I talk about the music industry, like I wasn't the artist, right? Like in a way, you are the artist. Like you control your own content. You control what you want it to be, where you want it to go, right? So like. I don't know, like from my aspect, it's like my goal as like a manager, right, is what? To make you the most amount of money so I can make the most amount of money.
Right.
When it comes down to it, right? Like I have no like of course, like you have a passion in terms of like, oh, like I want to hear good music come out, whatever. But to an aspect, it just becomes like my role in the industry was money driven. You know what I'm saying? Like
very much.
It wasn't like, okay, I'm out here like playing these fucking instruments and like
right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Doing the shit where you feel like, okay, and there's a lot of artists out there that I met that I'm still cool with, you know, like who are in a place where they like know all these fucking people, but they're like content with themselves, right? And they might not be fucking doing billions or millions on Spotify, but they're doing the hundreds of thousands and they live a good life and they're chill and they like to put out the content they like to put out. You know what I'm saying? Which is like honestly more beautiful to see than fucking the people who reach to the moon, because at that point you're selling a part of yourself for the money, which is like it's just like, and I felt like as in my role was to be like, hey, sell a part of yourself for some more money so we can get some more money going, so we can blow you up. You know what I mean? Like, which is another reason where from that aspect, it's just like that shit did not sit well with me. Like, it's just like, come on, like you want to let somebody do what they want to do. Like you said, if you feel comfortable in this space, or if you want to go to the next, like you seek out what you want, and hopefully you don't let anybody else like deter what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like change your outlook on things. Like, but also another point too, I wanted to hit on, like, so do you think this podcast really like will do you in as in like in terms of like what, like your image as an educator, or like,
no, like
when the parents hear it, they're like, oh fuck, like, what's the worry?
It's just like, especially because of the type of school I work, I think it would happen. I think that could be the case with any school I work with, but especially at the school I work at. It's like there's just like a disconnect between the stuff that I talk about, some certain opinions that I may have that I make public, because everybody has opinions, right? But it's just like you have, as an educator, you have to know when to say what and when to keep your mouth shut, and what's appropriate.
You have to have the correct opinion,
right? And what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. So it's like, I mean, I think.
But do you think at all, like, because like, okay, let's say like growing up, like my dad, like, you don't get any tattoos if you want a fucking job. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of aspect. You don't get any, like, you don't do this if you want this kind of job. You don't do this if you want that kind of job, right? Like that's what they tell you. But it's like at this point in time, like I feel like things are becoming a little bit more lenient.
I think for the most part, but like, I think as an educator, it's just like there's like a level
industry, of it's like, a suit and tie industry, like, right? Bro, we don't have to do that shit no more. Like,
as an educator, it's like as an educator, you have like you're as an educator, you have a responsibility to be a certain sort of role model and a positive influence, to your students and to the youth and whatever. And it's just like it just doesn't. There's like a lot of stuff that just doesn't align.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And obviously it's stuff that maybe adults understand, like that maybe, like even if I were getting into it, like they understand that, this doesn't make me, I'm not a bad person. I'm not like a two-faced person, but it's just like it can't work. Yeah. It can't work.
Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah.
So, but hopefully that's not the case. And if it ever happens, I would have, this podcast would have got me to a point where it's like, I don't need to be an educator anymore.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question.
Right.
So when that day does come, like
that day would have the day for this podcast would have to come before the day,
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I get you.
Let's wrap this up. So listen, who's winning the Super Bowl this year?
Fuck.
What's the Super Bowl matchup this year? At least. I'm saying Niners. I'm saying Niners Bills.
What?
I'm saying.
You think the Niners are taking? No, the Eagles are going. Not a chance they don't go.
Defense wins playoff games.
That's fair.
Defense wins playoffs games. Right now, Brock Purdy is looking good enough to lead. No, it's more than one game. Jimmy, you
don't think the pressure will build up when playoffs start?
It could. No, it will. It could and it will. But like they have too many weapons. They have McCaffrey. And Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, who's nice, he's solid.
They do have a lot of. They have a lot of weapons.
Their defense is like unbelievable right now.
Yeah, I think I'm taking the Eagles.
I think Eagles now. I will say that I did make this prediction before Garoppolo went down.
Yeah,
but I do still think that defense wins chips.
That's fair. No, it does. But I don't know these days.
The Bills, I think if the Bills lock in, because the Bills they look beatable.
They do.
But if they can lock in come playoffs, then it's gonna be Bills.
Bills, Eagles, yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
But like even the Chiefs still look fucking amazing. Yeah. They still look amazing, and Patrick Mahomes still looks amazing.
Yeah, I don't never know how I feel about the Chiefs. Like being a Raider fan, like they're in our division.
Yeah,
you want to be.
The Bills are in our division.
Yeah, exactly. The Bills are in our. You want to be a hater, but you're like, fuck. I'm
trying to be as objective as possible.
So
Mac Jones is gonna throw for fucking 1,000 yards when he makes the playoffs, and he's gonna fucking throw for 10 touchdowns. Like he's gonna go crazy,
bro. This guy. We'll see.
I didn't put on the doc. I had predictions for next year. So if you can wing this, that's fine. If not, I have some predictions for next year. If the Pats don't make the playoffs, I think Mac Jones is in trouble.
Yes,
I
agree with that 100%.
I
think
Zappy.
What were the memes? There were so many.
Zappy Hour, the pursuit of zappiness, everything.
Look,
Zappy tires, all this shit.
I think Zappy put the pressure on him. Once the pressure came on him, like you said, I think if he doesn't make the playoffs, he's in trouble. Yeah, 100%.
I think I had this as a prediction for this year, last year, but I'm gonna stick with it. I think. AOC? You know AOC, right?
Yeah, of course.
She's gonna come out with like some nudes or something. Like the nudes are gonna get leaked. She's gonna have some scandal. She's gonna get some. They're gonna break her somehow. She gonna get some news, and sex tape was gonna drop for her.
I mean, they are definitely gonna try and break her. I agree with that. I feel like they're always trying to do that.
Houston Astros are they're gonna repeat. I think baseball.
Yeah. But they look good from what I watch.
Celtics are gonna win the chip.
Yeah, if I had to put my money on somebody, it'd probably be the Celtics. Yeah.
I think, and before I say anything, I hope the fucking FBI doesn't come in and just fucking hit me with a laser. I think, but Biden is gonna die before next is gonna. So I'm just, but like he's not gonna get assassinated. I think it's just gonna be like from natural causes. I think that might happen. I think Kamala Harris is gonna finish the term out.
You think so?
that's my bold. That's like my hot take.
Yeah, that's a very
predictions.
Hot,
what do you got for? Please don't kill me.
That's a very
don't kill me,
take.
Please.
No, I foresee Biden making it through this term and trying to run.
And then he's gonna start he's gonna start smoking crack with his son. Either or.
In the Ukraine or where is it? Yeah, nah. But predictions. Let's see. I don't know. Predictions for 2023: recession. There we go.
Recession. This is more down your field.
My prediction: recession. Inflation's gonna keep driving us to I don't even fucking know.
Is crypto gonna make a comeback at all?
No, not next year.
Not next year.
I don't think
but
so.
At some point, you think?
Yes, I do think so. Okay. At some point, I think there's just too much There's too many smart people, and I think it all just comes down to once the government regulates the shit correctly in a certain way, which a lot of people will hate, and that's what crypto is going against. But there's so many smart people trying to create so many new platforms through crypto that are based on like blockchain, crypto, all this shit. That like, yes, it's gonna make us come back.
Okay.
The market is not gonna make a comeback next year. I don't think personally.
Hey man, gas prices are down again.
For now. We'll see for now.
Hey, for now.
All the layoffs. I mean, and technically, the inflation numbers have been coming out, and they've been going down. So everybody's hype on it. We'll see. Yeah, because it's also like, bro, the way they fucking calculate inflation's like literally like a Middle Ages, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's outdated,
bro. Like they're coming to random places, people, taking like paper surveys / like, that's just the worst way to do it. Like at this point in time, if you have this much data going on in the fucking world, you could get the direct prices from the people who are actually selling, like the companies, these huge $1 trillion fucking companies that are selling the products. Like, why don't you go get the prices for every, but
right.
So yeah, very outdated. I don't know. We'll see. That's my only prediction. Other than that, I just want the Raiders to make the fucking playoffs again because that's probably the best time of my life. So hopefully 2023 is our year. I don't know. Derek Carr.
I need a QB. Y'all need a QB.
I know. Derek
you
Carr.
guys should sign Jimmy Garoppolo.
It's his time. He's done. But I think when he's done, I'm also nervous that Devontae Adams is leaving.
Well, he just signed, though. He would have to get traded.
How many years is he signed to, though?
Is he signed or was he traded? You would know this more than me.
No, he was signed, but I thought it was only a 1-year deal.
Nah, they wouldn't sign Devontae for a 1-year deal. He was the best receiver.
So if they signed him for multiple years, yeah, look at it. It's either, so maybe it's like a 3-year deal then. I could be wrong. I thought it was a 1-year deal.
5 years.
5-year deal.
5 years. Yeah.
Devontae, sheesh.
It's 5. He signed for 5 years. So I think
he's the highest paid receiver.
And
right?
he's the no. I think Tyreek is the highest paid receiver.
Really?
Yeah. But Devontae is the best receiver in the NFL right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think he is the best receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
I just know. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, Derek Carr's gone. I don't know. The draft prospects this year don't look amazing, so I don't know who the fuck will have. But yeah, other predictions. I don't know.
Any shout outs before we go?
Shout out to Jeremy for having me.
Yep. Thank you. Shout out to you for coming through. I appreciate you.
Shout out
I appreciate you pulling up.
The family, everybody.
Well.
Shout out to Derek Carr not being there next year.
All right. And with that, Josh, thank you for coming through, bro. I had a great time.
Yeah, of course, my guy.
We're about to finish this thing of Henny and see what we get into tonight.
Facts.
And until next year, you dirtbags, holla.